and press record. There we go. All right, here we go. This is the Felix Durgan Ellefson Base Shop call for September 8th. Awesome stuff. Here we go. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's see what these are all about here. Here we go. Awesome week. Felix, 22 applications, 22,581 in APV, and the Durgan Ellefson base shop with 30 applications for 37,436 APV. That is awesome. Now let's celebrate some individuals here. Mr. James Burge with 2 applications for 2629 APV. Dustin with 6 apps for 3610. Gotta love that. Nice app count there. CJ, 2 applications for 3461. I love the determination and grit that this young man shows. It's awesome. Look at Paige. Paige, how about that? 6 applications for 3952 APV. Awesome, awesome. And gosh, 6 seems to be the number here. Brandon Helmick with 6 applications for 5,093 APV. Rafa with 8 applications for 11,247 APV. Yours truly here with 9 apps for 14,181 APV. And Mama Marco, look at this. 13 applications for 15,840 APV in 1 week. That's awesome, awesome stuff there. And those ratios are incredible because, if something were to happen, one of those falls off, which it could, probably not with the way Margaret writes policies, but it doesn't hurt the bank account. If you had just 1 application for 15,000, that might hurt if it falls off. But what symmetry says, if you're new on this call, divide that number that Margaret wrote, 15,000, in half. And at the starting contract level, that is foreseeable what would be deposited in your bank account. I'll take $7,500, $8,000 into the bank account every week. I don't know about you. Let's put a 1 in the chat. If you'd take 8,000 going into your bank account in 1 week, I know I would. I'm gonna be first one there. There you go. And for the month of September, so far, the Felix team has 25 applications for 26 and $90 in APV, $26,090. And the Durgan Ellefson with 4 unique, both base shops have 4 unique riders, 30 applications for 37,436 APV. Awesome stuff. Next slide. Here we go. Paige, you want to take this one? I know this is
Yeah.
you're passionate about this one.
So we're changing up this leaderboard a little bit, and this is about conversations had for the week. So whether you're brand new, like some of the faces on here, or you've been here for a little bit, anybody who's having conversations about the business, right? About recruiting, about building an agency, we're going to start leaderboarding that. So big shout out to James, had 1 last week. Haley had 2. Bruce had 4. Rachel had 5. Bridget had 6. I had 11. And look at you, Tom. Coming in number 1, 13 conversations for the week. We love that. We're going to keep sharing this every week and just see where this agency goes. Congrats, everybody. So we get a big, fat, juicy agency with your name on it.
Bridget, you want to take
Yeah,
this one?
I think I can handle this one.
Okay.
But what I want to kind of highlight what Paige was talking about, guys. That's exactly it. It's conversations. Hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm brand new. But it's going well so far. You don't have to know everything. It's just like what we talk about on the sales side. You don't have to know everything before you get started. You don't have to know everything before you start talking about the opportunity. So just wanted to touch on that. This is our main Zoom room, guys. This is where you'll always come in. This is where our main Miller Master Call will be tomorrow at 10. But you always come in here, look down on the bottom at breakout rooms. It'll be very specific, if it's this workroom or if it's the Mac room, whatever it is. So this is always your landing spot. And most of the time when you log into this direct line here, you'll see a bunch of squares, but you won't be able to hear. That's a sign you need to go to the breakout room. I can say that. Mm-hmm.
Can you say that fast 3 times, please?
No, 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 no.
Oh, no, you're
Come on.
done.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right,
Mm-hmm.
just like that. Everything's abrupt today. That's going to be our theme today, Paige. Everything's going to be abrupt. But hey, I want to chime in and chat on this. This is something that really hit me hard this weekend. Again, spent way too much time in the car, Bridget. That's just how this goes. But the topic in what I want to talk about today is people don't need your rescue. They need your trust. Think about this. Have you ever wanted to jump in and just fix someone's problem? Paige, Bridget, I find myself wanting to fix a new agent's problem every single time. It's like, oh, just go do this. No, that's not how this works, right? And um, I look at it like with my son. I'm very forward when I say I'm not quite full approval of his girlfriend, but I'm also not suffocating him to take away his chance to learn in all this. So, and it's cool, right? Because look around. Have you ever has it been a team member, a child, a close friend you care about, where you see him struggling, right? And your heart just says, I can make this easier. Let me help. Right? I've been there. Maybe you have too. But here's what I've learned. They don't need your rescue. They need your trust. And here's why. The instinct to rescue, right? Our instinct to rescue usually comes from love, a place of love, right? From wanting to spare people pain. And if we're being honest as well, sometimes it's about us. It makes us feel useful. It makes us feel important, maybe even heroic, right? But here's the problem. Every time we swoop in to fix, we also steal. We steal their opportunity to grow. We rob them of the confidence that only comes from doing hard things themselves. Think about it. Have you ever trained for something tough? A sport, a run, a marathon, a personal goal, right? All the sweat, all the grind, all the setbacks, that's what built you through that, not somebody bailing you out, right? Oh, man. And then you look at the second point of the power of trust over fixing. People actually don't need a fixer. They need a witness. A witness says, I saw you do that, and I believe you can do it again. That's what we do as mentors. We see you, and we believe you can do it again. And it changes everything. It shifts the focus from what can I do for you to what I believe you can do for yourself. Right? Think of this. Have anybody been to the gym lately? Right? Right? There we go. Think of this as being a spotter at the gym, right? If somebody's lifting heavy weights, right? Your job as the spotter isn't to lift the weights for them. Your job is to stand close enough that if they get stuck, you're there. You encourage, you guide, but the reps, the effort, the strength, that's all on them, right? And I think a lot of times we want to go lift the weights for people, and it doesn't help them grow at all. Um, and another point on this is you can't transfer sacrifice, right? Here's the truth. You can't transfer sacrifice into success. You can't transfer discipline into desire. You can't transfer desire at all. And you definitely can't transfer their worth. It just doesn't work that way. I'm doing 75 hard, and you know what? I can eat a clean diet and it probably won't shrink. I can eat a clean diet, but it won't shrink your waistline, right? I can put in the hours of training, but it's not going to build your endurance. I can love the vision of getting fit, but it won't create the fire in your belly to go get fit. I can walk with you, but I cannot walk for you, right? And I think as mentors, it's really interesting when you start climbing, when you see people climbing a mountain, we talk about summit, you're climbing through summit, right? Um, it's it's not we're not carrying you up the mountain. We're just reminding you that you have legs to get up that mountain too, right? And I'm reminded of this. People don't grow when you do it for them. They grow when you believe that they can do it themselves, right? And there's always going to be struggle with this, right? And struggle is not the punishment, it's the preparation, right? Think of this. Think of this story. There's a story about a butterfly, right? A man sees a cocoon on the ground shaking. He decides to help. He cuts open the cocoon to make it easier for the butterfly to get out. But now the butterfly slides out, but its wings are weak and it never flies. And you want to know why? Because the very struggle of pushing out of that cocoon is what forces the blood into the wings of the butterfly and makes them strong enough to fly. When we rescue too soon, we cut short someone's chance to build the strength that they need for the future. And sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to step back and let them fight through, right? So here's something cool. How do you truly support, right? So what else can we do? If rescuing doesn't help, what does? And I think this is true of everybody on this call. We can show up. We can be present in the moment. We can be that steady voice that says, I'm here, I believe in you, and I'm going to celebrate every step forward. Doesn't mean we're carrying their weight. It means we're standing beside them while they lift it, right? So I'll leave you with part of this, and we can open it up for conversation here, but leave you with this. Think of one person in your life right now, maybe here on this team, maybe in your family, that you've been tempted to fix things for. What would it look like if you stopped rescuing and started trusting? Because in the end, your rescue won't change their life. But your trust just might. They don't need your rescue, they need your trust. So that was just something on my mind. Paige, Bridget, feel free to jump in here and
Yeah, I love this time because it's so universal, right? It's the same thing we talk about our business. It's even when you're brand new and maybe you have people around you that are kind of like, are you sure you want to do that? That really seems hard. That's them not wanting us or you to struggle, to hurt. So that's more about them, right? But it doesn't help you at all because you just need to go through it, right? That is what builds resilience. Again, think about anything in your life. I don't care if it was riding a bike, passing the exam, all of the things that, I mean, you were just like, oh my gosh, this is straight uphill. And you had people around, they were like, no, you can do it. That's that guide by the side, mentality. And then it felt so much better when you did it, you conquered it. And it is the same, it's universally the same, right? So whether it's taking a look at ourselves, like, what do I keep thinking I'm not getting from my mentors, the team, whatever that is, just take a second and just say, what can I control? What can I do about this? And ask others, but what can I do about this to move forward in the path that I've chosen, right? So I think it's universal and it's always going to apply that you do that. You can't take away somebody's struggle because then you take away their wins.
yeah. And part of that as well is, in a conversation I had last week, somebody was calling, they were struggling a little bit, and the my first mind was, okay, you can just fix it this way. Just do this instead of, hey, what do you think about that? Where do you think you can grow through that? We'll be right here, but where can we grow through that? Not just get to it and get done, right? And I think this, like you said, Bridget, universal, especially in new agents coming in and experienced as well. When you change something up or you're looking at something different or trying something else in your business or going into a new recruiting platform, whatever it is, right? Um, the growth comes from doing the work. And we see it. We see when a new age like CJ's a great example right now. He said it on the wins that he's starting to figure this out. And it's the work that goes into that makes the huge difference. It's not just um, hey CJ, go make $1,000 this, blah, blah, blah. It's the follow-up, it's the things that happen outside of the things that you need to do to make your move your business forward that really builds that muscle up, that muscle of intentionality and discipline. This is what it takes to make it. And starting to see the success of it, right? Anybody else got thought, idea? I'm I went through that pretty fast. I should have taken more time, but
No, it was perfect time. I would just say, to give anybody on this call that we all want to get better at something, whether it's on a personal side, on the business side. So I would say maybe today, kind of the task would be pick one, maybe two areas just on the symmetry side that are it's just a grind for you. And you have to either decide, is it a skill set thing? Is it a knowing or is it a doing? So if you're really, really having some churn about dialing, and you've been dialing enough and you're getting enough context, well, then maybe that's an opportunity to go back with your mentor, role play. When they say this, here's what I said. We can help you fine tune that. Or maybe the struggle is you're just not dialing enough to get good again through those struggles, right? There's a reason we call it massive action constant correction. That it's there it is right there. Um, so I would urge you to pick just one or two things that you want to get better at or that you just avoid. You're just kind of like, but anybody that's been here a minute has heard me say this a million times. Nothing happens without a phone. Nothing happens without, I don't care if the leads are digital, they pop into your CRM. If you're using it, that doesn't matter, but nothing happens without you interacting with that client in some way. And we can't do that for you. So I just think this is super applicable to every day, but pick one or two areas, guys, that you want to get better at and really kind of look at, is it a knowing thing or is it a doing thing? Because you can control both. That's the good news. So that's it. That's the only kind of takeaway I'd have there.
yeah, and the other part of that is, we can't, what we could demand, we could ask for recordings, we could ask for everything, to help you. But when you are in this fight and you're getting going and you're recording yourself and sending it to your upline, that's doing the heavy lifting, right? And or hey, the sales this didn't go right. I don't know what I did. Okay. Well, let's go through. Run me through what your appointment looked like. Or, well, I recorded it. Perfect. Now let's go figure that out. Um, that's that's when the learning curve goes through the roof quick. And you bust that learning curve is when you're taking the action to move it forward rather than sitting and waiting, right, for someone else to do the lifting. That's a that's a good point, Bridget. Very good.
Absolutely. This is such a good topic, Tom, and I think it's just important to really hit home that we are responsible for our own success in everything, but especially here. And that's part of the learning curve is undoing that thought process because a lot of us come from working for a person, right? We come from having a job where someone tells us what to do, when to do it. They check back and micromanage sometimes to make sure you're doing it. And they dictate what you can do with your free time and when you can do that sometimes. So when you step out of that and you're here and you don't have that, right? Tom, Bridget, myself, we're not going to be like, hey, Rachel, are you dialing today? You said you were going to. It's on your schedule. Why didn't you? We're not, I mean, I might give Rachel a hard time because I know her, but I'm not going to do that, right? Not going to do that. I'm not going to say, CJ, you said you were going to do that today. Why didn't you do it? You need to do it. We need to get you, blah, blah. That's just not how we operate here, right? Yeah, we're not going to lay down the hammer unless you want us to. But that's the thing, right? We are here to guide you. We're here to help you. We know exactly how you feel. We've been there, right? It wasn't that long ago. 5 years is a short time in this business. And I know exactly how it feels to get started, and I know exactly how it feels to struggle, and I know exactly how it feels to push through that. So we're here to help with that, but we're not here to dictate how that goes for you. And I think that for some, initially, that doesn't feel as good as we think it does because it's unknown, right? It's unknown having that much control. So understanding that, right? Knowing that is the first key here is being aware and just knowing that, okay, so I have a little more freedom than I thought I did, and then maybe this feels different than I thought it would, but what can I do today that's going to move the needle for myself? And here's a hint. Income producing activities. What are income producing activities? Dialing is an income producing activity. Organizing your leads is not. Organizing your desk is not. Tom, organizing your garage is not, right? My office was very clean too when I first started. I was really good at organizing, but not as good at dialing. So, income producing activities, when in doubt, if you feel stuck, if you're like, I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with all this time, income producing activities, dialing, recruiting, sharing the business, and moving yourself forward.
Yeah, and to your point, Paige, it doesn't feel comfortable at all initially, right? Meaning, I know when we started out, we were booking on each other's calendar, and it was it was crazy. The accountability was so high and the struggle was so real. And
And just to clarify, that was for recruiting. We were not
recruiting.
on each other's calendar for production. Just so
Oh,
everyone knows, I was not running Tom's appointments as much as he might have wanted me to. I'm just kidding.
I did in the beginning because you were doing amazing. You were just that far ahead. You were just ahead enough, right? And and I've always said that you've always been ahead enough of me to show an example. And I think that's been very, very key. So yeah, just before we but and thank you for that, Paige. I don't know if I ever thank you enough for that. That's yeah, still here today because of you. Um, we have a couple changes in the call schedule for this week. Uh, the Walk of Fame Tuesday is dialing. Wednesday's Walk of Fame is going to be Barry, and that one will probably go a little longer. There's nothing really behind uh, Barry from a hard cutoff standpoint, and he wanted more time to go through it. So Barry's advanced training is on Wednesday. Thursday will be presenting, and Friday will be recruiting for the Walk of Fame. And also on Tuesday, we have the Master Huddle with with Ryan Miller and his team on down. So it's like, how many people were in there? 400, something crazy like that. And it's I it's really cool to have all those people in there because um it's our group, it's our people. So, and then I don't think there's any other changes in the call schedule. We have our
Mm-mm.
Breakfast Club huddle on Thursday right
Yep.
after presenting. So,
What time
yeah,
is Barry's call on Wednesday, Tom?
10.
Okay, and we'll get an updated master calendar, guys. So, Breakfast Club, where we do the book, will be 1 day a week.
Yep.
There's no longer a Monday Walk of Fame. It'll be, this call. at 10 a.m. And then so a couple of tweaks, but make sure you change if you do your calendar alerts or alerts on your phone, whatever that is. Just trying to maximize our time together, best practices type of thing, and then certainly, given more time to the advance and the resets for Barry. So, yep, perfect. This is a
Okay.
great call topic today, Tommy. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I hope this made a difference and an impact and helped in the mindset a little today and go use this and just go crush today.